You say you want success. You say you want the dream, but the real question is this: are you ready before the moment even arrives? Because here's the truth. When the opportunity shows up, it doesn't give you time to prepare. It doesn't wait on you to get your mind right. It doesn't wait on you to get your habits right. It doesn't wait on you to decide whether you're serious this time. It shows up unannounced. It shows up in the middle of the storm. It shows up in a split second. And if you're not ready in that moment, you don't get a second chance. That's why champions don't prepare only when the lights are on. They prepare every single day, even when no one's watching, even when there's no reward in sight. You have to live in a constant state of readiness. Too many people wait until the opportunity knocks to start practicing. Too many people wait until the exam is scheduled to start studying. Too many people wait until the game day to try to get in shape. By the time you start preparing, the moment has already passed. The difference between those who win and those who lose is simple. The winners were already prepared before the moment arrived. When the coach calls your name, when a company calls you for the interview, when the door cracks open, it's too late to start thinking about whether you're ready. You have to already be in position. You have to already have the skills sharpened, the discipline built, the mindset locked in. Think about the soldier who trains day and night, even when there's no war. Why? Because when the battle comes, there's no time to learn how to shoot, no time to learn how to march, no time to learn how to fight. It's already too late. The training has to be in your blood. The preparation has to be second nature. The readiness has to be built into your lifestyle. And that's what separates the best from the rest. They stay ready so they don't have to get ready. And I know what you're thinking. You're waiting for the perfect time, the right resources, the right situation. Let me tell you, the perfect time doesn't exist. If you're waiting for everything to line up before you prepare, you're already behind. The people who win are the ones who prepare in the dark, who grind when the circumstances don't look good, who stay disciplined when there's no applause, who study when the room is quiet, who train when nobody's cheering. They're the ones who are so ready that when opportunity comes, they don't panic, they don't scramble, they don't question. They just step into it like they've been there 1,000 times before. Readiness is about building habits that make you unstoppable. If you practice quitting, you'll be ready to quit. If you practice giving half effort, you'll be ready to give half effort. But if you practice excellence every single day, if you train yourself to give your best regardless of the situation, then when a real test comes, you'll rise to the occasion without even thinking about it. Readiness is about consistency. You don't get ready overnight. You build it one day at a time, one rep at a time, one sacrifice at a time. Ask yourself this: if the door opened today, if the call came right now, if the stage was set this very moment, would you be ready to step into it? Or would you be scrambling to get yourself together? Because life doesn't give you a warning. The opportunity of a lifetime must be seized in the lifetime of the opportunity. And opportunities don't last forever. They come and they go, and only those who are prepared get to seize them. Don't fool yourself into thinking you'll rise to the occasion. No, you don't rise to the occasion. You fall back on your preparation. Whatever you have trained for, whatever habits you have built, that's exactly what will show up when the pressure is on. If you've trained yourself to be lazy, laziness will show up. If you've trained yourself to procrastinate, procrastination will show up. But if you've trained yourself to stay focused, to stay disciplined, to stay committed, then when the opportunity comes, excellence will show up. That's why being ready isn't a part-time job. It's a full-time commitment. It's a lifestyle. You can't pick and choose when you want to be ready. You can't be ready on Monday and take Tuesday off. You can't be ready only when it feels good and give up when it feels hard. You've got to stay in a constant state of readiness. That means every morning you wake up, you're locked in. Every night before you sleep, you know you gave everything you had. Every single day you're sharpening your sword because you don't know when the moment is coming. So stop waiting for later. Stop waiting for better condition. Stop waiting for the perfect chance. Start preparing now. Start building now. Start grinding now. Mindset over everything. That's where it all begins. Before you can lift a weight, before you can take a step toward your dream, Before you can put in the hours, you've got to first master what's going on between your ears. Because if your thoughts are weak, your actions will be weak. If your beliefs are small, your results will be small. Every accomplishment, every breakthrough, every victory you've ever seen started in the mind first. People want to change their bank account. They want to change their body. They want to change their relationships. But they don't understand that the real transformation happens in your mind long before it happens in your life. If you see yourself as average, if you see yourself as broken, if you see yourself as a victim, that's exactly how you will live. But if you see yourself as capable, if you see yourself as disciplined, if you see yourself as someone who can win, that identity will drive every action you take. Most people lose before they even begin because they let doubt, fear, and negativity control their minds. They convince themselves they can't do it. And once the mind quits, the body has no chance. That's why when you wake up every morning, your first job isn't to check your phone. Your first job isn't to scroll through social media. Your first job is to get your mind right. Because the battles of the day are won or lost before you even walk out the door. The conversations you have with yourself in the quiet moments, the way you talk to yourself about your dreams, the way you feed your thoughts with either negativity or positivity, that determines how you respond when challenges come. And challenges will come. Mindset is about perspective. The same storm that breaks one person builds another. The same obstacle that makes one person quit becomes the fuel that pushes another to greatness. The difference isn't the situation. The difference is the way you look at it. Winners don't see problems, they see opportunities. They don't see failure as the end, they see it as feedback. They don't let fear stop them. They let fear sharpen them. That's the power of mindset. It shapes how you interpret everything that happens around you. And mindset isn't just about being positive for the sake of being positive. It's about training your mind to find solutions, to stay disciplined, to focus on the things that matter. Positivity without discipline is just wishful thinking. But when you combine a strong mindset with consistent action, you become unstoppable. That's why you have to be intentional about what you allow into your mind. The music you listen to, the people you hang around, the content you consume, these things either strengthen your mindset or weaken it. If you surround yourself with people who complain, who doubt, who criticize, you'll start thinking like them. But if you surround yourself with people who are hungry, who are driven, who refuse to quit, that energy will shape your mindset too. Too many people wait until they feel motivated to act, but mindset is what allows you to move, even when you don't feel like it. Discipline is born in the mind. When the alarm goes off at 5 a.m., your body doesn't want to move. Your emotions don't want to move. But your mindset, the decision you made the night before, the standard you set for yourself pushes you to rise anyway. That's why I tell people, stop waiting on motivation. Motivation is a spark, but mindset is the engine. You can't run a marathon on a spark. Whoa, you need an engine that keeps going no matter what. Every champion you admire built their success on mindset. The athlete who trains when they're tired, the entrepreneur who keeps grinding after countless failures, the student who studies after everyone else has gone to sleep. They all master their minds before they master their craft. Because once your mind is made up, once you've decided that quitting is not an option, once you've committed to being the best version of yourself, your body will follow. It has no choice. But mindset isn't something you get once and keep forever. It has to be worked on daily. Just like muscles get weak if you stop training, your mindset weakens if you stop feeding it. That's why you have to read. You have to listen. You have to reflect. You have to pray. You have to do whatever it takes to keep your thoughts sharp and focused. Because the world will constantly try to pull you down, constantly try to distract you, constantly try to make you settle. If you're not intentional about protecting and strengthening your mindset, you'll fall back into negativity. Think about it. Two people can go through the exact same situation. One comes out broken and bitter. The other comes out stronger and wiser. What made the difference? It wasn't the situation. It was the mindset. One focused on the pain. The other focused on the lesson. One said, oh, why me? The other said, try me. One saw the end. The other saw a new beginning. Hunger is the difference. That burning desire inside you, that relentless fire that keeps you moving when everyone else is sleeping. That's the difference between those who say they want it and those who actually get it. I don't care how talented you are. I don't care how much skill you've been blessed with. I don't care how smart you think you are. None of it matters without hunger. Hunger will make up for what you lack in talent. Hunger will push you through when your body is tired. Hunger will keep you focused when distractions are calling your name. Hunger is the fuel that separates winners from losers, dreamers from doers, talkers from achievers. Think about the people who succeed at the highest level. They aren't always the most gifted. They aren't always the most connected. They aren't always the ones with the best circumstances, but they're always the hungriest. Hunger makes you stay up late studying when your eyes are heavy. Hunger makes you show up early and stay late when everyone else has gone home. Hunger makes you push past rejection, past embarrassment, past failure, because you refuse to let go of the vision you've been chasing. When you're truly hungry, quitting isn't even on the table, because you can't imagine life without that dream becoming reality. Too many people say they want success, but they don't really want it. They want it if it's convenient. They want it if it comes easy. They want it if they don't have to sacrifice too much. That's not hunger. That's appetite. Hunger is different. Hunger isn't conditional. Hunger isn't temporary. Hunger doesn't fade when the weather changes. Hunger is constant. Hunger is what makes you get up at 4 a.m. to grind while the world is still asleep. Hunger is what makes you turn off the television, put down the phone, and put in the work. Hunger doesn't need perfect conditions. Hunger just needs an opportunity, When you're hungry, you stop making excuses. You stop blaming past. You stop blaming your circumstances. You stop blaming other people. Hunger doesn't allow you to play the victim. Hunger forces you to find a way, to create a way to keep pushing even when the odds are stacked against you. Hunger is resourceful. It will make you study when you don't have a teacher. It will make you practice when you don't have a coach. It will make you build when you don't have tools. Hunger doesn't wait for someone to hand it over. Hunger goes out and takes it. You have to ask yourself, how hungry are you? Because hunger shows up in your actions, not your words. Anybody can say they want it, but your grind will tell the truth. Your discipline will tell the truth. Your sacrifices will tell the truth. If you're not willing to lose sleep for it, if you're not willing to say no to distractions for it, if you're not willing to put in the work when nobody's watching, then you're not hungry. You're just interested. And interested people never make it to the top. Only the hungry do. Hunger will make you endure pain. Hunger will make you push through obstacles. Hunger will make you walk through fire if that's what it takes. The road to success isn't smooth. It's filled with challenges, setbacks, rejections, and heartbreaks. Without hunger, you'll give up at the first sign of trouble. But when you're hungry, you'll see every obstacle as a test, every setback as preparation, every failure as fuel. Hunger transforms obstacles into opportunity. Hunger says, I don't care how long it takes. I don't care how hard it gets. I don't care how many times I fall. I will not stop until I get what I came for. That's why hunger is more important than talent. No, talent might get you in the room, but hunger will keep you in the room. Talent might get you noticed, but hunger will keep you relevant. Talent without hunger will get lazy. It will get complacent. It will get passed up by someone less talented, but hungrier. Because hunger doesn't quit. Hunger doesn't settle. Hunger doesn't stop until the dream is in your hand. You have to feed your hunger every single day. You feed it by reminding yourself why you start. You feed it by surrounding yourself with people who push you, not people who drain you. You feed it by visualizing your dream every morning and every night, good night, until it consumes you. Hunger is not something you feel once. It's something you cultivate, something you protect, something you fuel. Because the world will try to kill your hunger. Comfort will try to kill your hunger. Doubt will try to kill your hunger. That's why you got to guard it with everything you got. So when I ask you, are you ready? What I'm really asking is, are you hungry enough? Hungry enough to outwork everyone around you. Hungry enough to sacrifice comfort for greatness. Hungry enough to push when your body says stop. Hungry enough to chase the dream until it becomes reality. Sacrifice now, celebrate later. That's the formula. That's the code. That's the truth nobody wants to hear. Everybody wants to celebrate. Everybody wants the spotlight. Everybody wants the trophy, but not everybody is willing to make the sacrifices required to get there. Success doesn't come with shortcuts. Success doesn't come with discount. Success has a full price tag, and it demands you pay up front in full with interest long before you ever see the results. The question is, are you willing to pay that price now so you can enjoy the rewards later? Look at anyone you admire, anyone who has reached greatness in their field, and behind the scenes, you'll see sacrifice. The athlete who gave up weekends and parties to train, the entrepreneur who worked late nights when their friends were out having fun, the student who studied while everyone else was sleeping. That's what success looks like before the cameras turn on. It looks like pain. It looks like discipline. It looks like choosing what you want most over what you want right now. Sacrifice is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. And too many people never cross that bridge because they're not willing to give up what feels good today for what will feel great tomorrow. Sacrifice means you may have to say no when everybody else is saying yes. It means you may have to walk alone when your friends don't understand your grind. It means missing sleep, missing fun, missing comfort, because you're building something bigger than yourself. And here's the truth. Those sacrifices will hurt in a moment. Waking up before the sun isn't easy. Saying no to distractions isn't easy. Investing time, energy, and money into something that hasn't paid off yet isn't easy. But you have to trust that the pain of sacrifice today will turn into the joy of celebration tomorrow. Most people choose comfort over sacrifice. They want instant gratification. They want to enjoy now and hope that somehow magically success will appear later. But that's not how it works. Comfort now equals struggle later. Sacrifice now equals freedom later. You can choose to pay the price up front through hard work and discipline, or you can pay it with regret and disappointment later. Either way, you're going to pay. The difference is whether you're willing to delay the celebration so you can earn it the right way. Sacrifice is proof that you're serious. Talk is cheap. Anybody can say they want success, but what are you willing to give up for it? Are you willing to sacrifice your ego and learn from people smarter than you? Are you willing to sacrifice time scrolling on your phone to work on your craft? Are you willing to sacrifice sleep to study, practice, build? Are you willing to sacrifice the approval of others so you can pursue your own vision? The people who make it are the people who are willing to trade temporary pleasure for long-term progress. And here's the thing, sacrifice is not forever. You don't have to give up everything for the rest of your life. But for a season, for a period of your journey, you have to lock in. You have to be willing to grind while others relax. You have to be willing to put your head down and work while others are partying. Because there will come a time when the tables turn. The one who sacrificed now will celebrate later, and the one who avoided sacrifice will live with regret. You have to stop thinking about what you're losing and start thinking about what you're gaining. When you sacrifice, you're not losing sleep. You're gaining discipline. You're not losing time with friends. You're gaining mastery of your craft. You're not losing comfort. You're gaining character, strength, and resilience. Sacrifice is not punishment. It's investment. It's planting seeds that will grow into a harvest later. And if you're willing to sacrifice long enough, consistently enough, you'll reap blessing. The others only dream of sure what's up. But if you refuse to sacrifice, if you keep chasing comfort, if you keep chasing temporary pleasure, then don't expect to celebrate later. Don't expect results without the grind. Don't expect rewards without the work. Life doesn't cheat the system. The level of your sacrifice will always match the level of your success. If you give little, you'll receive little. If you give much, you'll receive much. So you have to decide, do you want to be comfortable now and regretful later? Or uncomfortable now and grateful later? Do you want the short-term pleasure or the long-term reward? Do you want the easy road that leads to mediocrity or the hard road that leads to greatness? So at the end of the day, celebration without sacrifice doesn't exist. You don't get to skip the pain and still hold the prize. You don't get to avoid the grind and still enjoy the glory. The people you see celebrating now are only doing so because they sacrificed when nobody was watching. Control the controllables. That's the key that too many people overlook. Every single day, life throws things at you that you can't control. The weather, the economy, the opinions of other people, unexpected setbacks, disappointments, delays. And if you spend all your energy worrying about those things, you'll drain yourself before you ever even get started. The truth is, you cannot control the storms of life, but you can control how you prepare for them. You can't control what others say about you, but you can control what you say to yourself. You can't control the opportunities that show up, but you can control how ready you are when they do. The difference between people who rise and people who fall isn't the circumstances, it's what they choose to focus on. So many people waste their lives fighting battles they can't win, stressing over things they can't change, and complaining about problems they have no power to fix. That's why they're exhausted, frustrated, and defeated. Winners don't waste time on what they can't control. They master what they can. They master their attitude. They master their effort. They master their discipline. They master their preparation. Those are the things within your control, and those are the things that make the difference. When you wake up every morning, you may not be able to control how the day unfolds, but you can control how you respond. And your response is what determines whether the day makes you or breaks you. When you focus on the controllables, you shift from being a victim to being a victor. Victims complain about the things they can't change. Victors act on the things they can. You can't change your past, but you can change your habits today. You can't change where you started, but you can change where you finish. You can't control the hand you were dealt, but you can control how you play it. That's what separates champions. They stop complaining about their circumstances and start maximizing what they do have. Controlling the controllables means being intentional with your energy. You only have so much strength, so much focus, so much willpower each day. If you waste it on negativity, on worry, on anger, then you'll have nothing left for the grind, nothing left for your goals. But if you put that same energy, your effort, your preparation, your discipline, your learning, your relationships, you'll see progress. You'll see growth. You'll see results. Let me make it practical. You can't control whether someone believes in you or not, but you can control whether you believe in yourself. You can't control whether someone gives you an opportunity, but you can control whether you prepare yourself so well that when the opportunity comes, you're undeniable. You can't control how others treat you, but you can control how you carry yourself, the respect you give yourself, and the standards you hold yourself to. Too many people are waiting on others to change before they move forward. But winners move forward regardless. They focus on what's in their hands, not what's out of reach. You've got to stop letting what you can't control paralyze you. Some of you spend so much time thinking about what could go wrong that you never take the first step. You're worrying about whether the market will change, whether people will support you, whether you'll fail. Stop it. You can't control any of that. What you can control is your grind. What you can control is how many hours you put in, how much you study, how hard you practice, how disciplined you are with your time. Focus there, because that's where the power is. Controlling the controllables also means mastering your emotion. Life will throw disappointments at you. People will let you down. Plans will fall apart. If you allow every setback to destroy your mindset, you'll never build momentum. But if you decide to control your emotions, to stay calm in chaos, to stay focused in frustration, to stay hungry in hardship, you'll outlast the storm. Success doesn't belong to the strongest or the smartest. It belongs to the most disciplined, the ones who can keep their composure, keep their grind, and keep their focus when everything around them is falling apart. Understand this. When you focus on what you can control, you create momentum. And momentum is everything. One small choice to control your time leads to better habits. Better habits lead to more progress. More progress builds confidence. Confidence builds consistency, and consistency produces success. But it all starts with focusing on what you can actually do instead of stressing about what you can't. Stop giving your power away to things outside your control. Stop letting people's opinions determine your actions. Stop letting circumstances dictate your emotions. Stop letting fear of the unknown freeze you in place. Fail forward. That's the mindset you've got to have if you're serious about success. Too many people are afraid of failure, so they never take the first step. They sit on the sidelines of life, waiting for perfect conditions, waiting until they're guaranteed not to mess up, waiting until everything lines up just right. And because of that fear, they never get anywhere. Let me tell you something. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of success. Every single person who has achieved greatness has failed. And not just once, but over and over again. The difference is they didn't let failure stop them. They use it as a stepping stone. They fail forward. When you fail forward, you treat every mistake as a teacher. You treat every setback as a classroom. You treat every wrong move as a chance to learn how to make the right move next time. Failure is feedback. It's information. It's not a dead end, it's a redirection. Every time you fall, you discover one more way not to do it. And that brings you closer to finding a way that works. That's why people who fail forward eventually win. They're not scared to try because they know even if it doesn't work out, they'll come out smarter, stronger, and better prepared. Think about the greatest inventors, athletes, entrepreneurs, leaders, you name it. None of them made it to the top without falling flat on their faces multiple times. The difference between them and the ones who quit is that they didn't let failure define them. They refused to let failure be final. They failed forward, and eventually those failures became the foundation of their success. You don't remember how many shots Michael Jordan missed. You remember the championships. You don't remember how many businesses Thomas Edison failed at. You remember the light bulb. You don't remember how many times Oprah got turned down. You remember the empire she built. Why? Because failure didn't stop them. It shaped them. Failing forward means you stop seeing failure as a reason to quit and start seeing it as a reason to keep going. Most people take failure personally. They say, I failed, so I must not be good enough. No, failure doesn't mean you're not good enough. Failure means you're human. Failure means you're trying. Failure means you're stretching yourself beyond your comfort zone. And that's where growth happens. If you're not failing at something, it probably means you're not pushing yourself hard enough. You're playing it safe, and safe never leads to greatness. You got to stop fearing failure and start fearing regret. Failure lasts a moment, but regret lasts a lifetime. Failure gives you another chance. Regret doesn't. Failure teaches you something regret doesn't. Failure puts you back in the fight. Regret puts you on the sidelines for good. So if you've got to choose, always choose failure over regret. Because failure at least moves you forward, but regret keeps you stuck in the past. Fail forward also means changing the way you respond to setbacks. When you fall, don't just sit there complaining. Get back up, dust yourself off and ask, what did this teach me? How can I use this to get better? How can I adjust my strategy and come back stronger? Winners ask those questions, losers just quit. Winners take responsibility, losers blame others. Winners use failure as motivation. Losers use failure as an excuse. The difference isn't the failure itself, it's the response. And let's be real, failure hurts. Nobody enjoys falling short, nobody enjoys losing. But pain is part of the process. Pain is proof that you're alive, proof that you're in the game, proof that you're moving. And if you can push through the pain, if you can embrace the lessons, if you can keep fighting after the fall, that's when you truly become unstoppable. The ones who quit at the first sign of pain will never know what they're capable of. The ones who push through will discover strength they didn't even know they had. You've got to train yourself to see failure differently. Instead of saying I lost, say I lost. Say I learned. Instead of saying I failed, say I grew. Instead of saying this is the end, say this is the beginning of a better version of me. Words matter. Perspective matters. And when you start to reframe failure as forward progress, you stop being afraid of it. You stop letting it paralyze you. And you start using it to fuel you. Every time you fail forward, you build resilience. You become tougher. You become more creative. You become more resourceful. You discover new ways to solve problems. You learn how to adapt, how to adjust, how to innovate. And those are the qualities that create long-term success. It's not perfection that creates champions, it's persistence. It's the ability to keep showing up, keep trying, keep learning, keep moving forward no matter how many times you fall. Consistency is readiness in action. Anybody can show up once. Anybody can be motivated for a week. Anybody can work hard when the excitement is fresh. But true success doesn't come from bursts of energy. It comes from showing up day after day, even when the motivation is gone, even when nobody is clapping, even when you feel like quitting. Consistency is the bridge between goals and achievements. It's not about what you do occasionally. It's about what you do relentlessly. The greatest don't just work hard sometimes. They work hard all the time. They don't wait to feel inspired. They show up because they're committed to the process. Consistency is the proof that you're serious. You can talk all you want about how bad you want it. You can post quotes. You can make big plans, but if you can't show up every day and do the work, it's just talk. Consistency doesn't lie. If you want to know how bad you really want something, look at your habits. Do you put in the work even when you don't see results yet? Do you stay disciplined when nobody's watching? Do you keep moving forward even when progress feels slow? That's what separates those who dream from those who live their dreams. The truth is, consistency isn't glamorous. It's not exciting to wake up early every day to study when you rather watch TV, to practice the same drills over and over, to grind in silence while others are out having fun. It's boring, it's repetitive, but that's the price of greatness. Champions are made in the hidden hours of consistent effort, not in the spotlight of performance. By the time you see them on stage, on the field, or at the top of their industry, they've already put in thousands of unseen hours of consistent grind. And here's the beautiful thing, consistency compound. The little things you do every day add up. One workout won't change your body, but 100 will. One study session won't make you an expert, but years of learning will. One disciplined choice won't change your life, but stacking those choices day after day will create transformation. Consistency is like drops of water carving through stone. Over time, it shapes mountains. That's why people who stay consistent eventually pass people who are more talented, but inconsistent. Talent may open the door, but consistency keeps you in the room. Consistency is also how you build momentum. When you show up every day, you create a rhythm, and that rhythm makes it easier to keep going. But when you're inconsistent, you're always starting over. Every time you stop, you lose momentum, and starting again feels harder. That's why so many people quit. Not because they couldn't do it, but because they never built the habit of consistency. If you can master consistency, you'll never have to rely on motivation again, because the habit will carry you. You got to decide who you want to be, a sprinter or a marathon runner. Sprinters burn out fast. They go hard for a short time and then collapse. Marathon runners pace themselves. They keep showing up. They keep moving in, and in the end, they reach the finish line. Success isn't about speed. It's about endurance. Can you keep going long after the initial excitement has worn off? Can you keep grinding when the results are slow? Can you keep believing when nobody else does? That's consistency. And consistency isn't just about working hard. It's about working smart. It's about setting routines, creating systems, and building habits that keep you on track. If you leave your success up to feeling, you'll fail, because feelings are inconsistent. Some days you'll feel like working, other days you won't. But if you build habits, it won't matter how you feel. You'll still show up. You won't have to think about whether or not you're going to work. It'll be automatic. It'll be automatic. That's the power of consistency. It makes discipline a lifestyle instead of a decision. Consistency is also what earns trust. People respect consistency. If you're reliable, if you show up when you say you will, if you do what you say you'll do, people will trust you. Opportunities come to people who are consistent because consistency proves character. Nobody wants to invest in someone who's hot today and cold tomorrow. But if you're steady, if you're disciplined, if you're consistent, doors will open because people can depend on you. When you're consistent, you also train your mind to be resilient. Every time you push through on a day you didn't feel like it, you strengthen your discipline muscle. Every time you keep going, despite obstacles, you remind yourself that you're unstoppable. And over time, that consistency builds confidence. You start to believe in yourself because you've proven to yourself over and over again that you can be counted on. That's why consistent people walk differently. They talk differently. They carry themselves with confidence because they know they're not faking it. They put in the work day after day. Who you surround yourself with will determine how far you go. You can have all the talent in the world. You can have the best vision, the best drive, but if you keep the wrong people around you, they'll drain your energy, kill your focus, and keep you stuck. That's why you got to surround yourself with readiness, with people who are sharp, disciplined, hungry, and committed. You don't rise to the level of your dreams. You rise or fall to the level of your circle. If your circle is lazy, unfocused, and unmotivated, it's only a matter of time before you start acting the same way. But if your circle is locked in, focused, and ready, that energy becomes contagious. Readiness is an environment. When you're around people who are constantly growing, constantly pushing themselves, constantly elevating, you don't even have the option of slacking off. You're forced to raise your game just to keep up. That's why winners hang around winners. Champions hang around champions. People who are serious about their future surround themselves with others who are just as serious. Iron sharpens iron. If you want to stay sharp, you got to be around iron. But too many of you are trying to grow while keeping the same old circle. You're trying to soar while hanging with people who are satisfied crawling. You're trying to run while surrounding yourself with people who are content sitting. And you wonder why you feel stuck. You can't expect to be ready for your big moment if the people closest to you are unprepared. Readiness is not just about your mindset, it's about the culture you create around yourself. If your culture is negative, toxic, or complacent, you'll absorb it. If your culture is positive, disciplined, and hungry, you'll absorb that too. Surrounding yourself with readiness means being intentional about who you allow in your space. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. If someone is constantly pulling you down, always negative, always making excuses, always distracting you, that's a liability. And liabilities cost you opportunities. Sometimes the hardest part of growth is cutting people off, but you gotta understand, your destiny is too important to let anyone hold you back. You don't have time to carry dead weight. And here's the truth. People either push you closer to your vision or pull you further away. There is no in between. Every conversation, every interaction is either feeding your focus or draining it. That's why you got to evaluate your circle regularly. Ask yourself, do the people around me make me better? Do they challenge me? Do they inspire me? Do they hold me accountable? If the answer is no, you're surrounded by the wrong people. Readiness thrives in accountability. You need people who won't let you settle, who will call you out when you're slacking, who will push you past your comfort zone. When you surround yourself with readiness, you stop being the smartest one in the room. You put yourself in environments where you're stretched, where you're forced to learn, where you're challenged to level up. Too many people want to be the big fish in a small pond, but that doesn't produce growth. Growth happens when you're humble, when you realize you got more to learn, when the people around you inspire you to go harder. You need a circle that makes you uncomfortable with mediocrity. Readiness is also about energy. There are some people who, when you leave their presence, you feel drained. And there are others who, when you leave, you feel charged. Choose the ones who charge. Life is already full of challenges. The last thing you need is people adding unnecessary weight to your journey. Surround yourself with those who encourage you, who believe in you, who celebrate your wins and help you through your losses. That kind of environment keeps you fueled, keeps you focused, keeps you moving forward. But don't just look for what you can get from your circle. Look at what you bring to it. Surrounding yourself with readiness also means being readiness for others. Be the one who encourages, who inspires, who holds others accountable. Be the one who raises the standard, who sets the tone. Because if everyone in your circle is waiting to be motivated, nothing will happen. But if each of you takes responsibility to bring readiness to the table, that circle becomes unstoppable. You've also got to be willing to let your circle evolve. The people who got you to this level may not be the same people who can take you to the next one. That doesn't mean they're bad people. It just means their season in your journey is over. Don't feel guilty about growing beyond people. Growth always requires change, and change always requires courage. Sometimes that courage means stepping into new rooms, finding new mentors, seeking out people who think bigger, dream bigger, love bigger. Because the bigger your circle of readiness, the bigger your opportunities.